Hey everybody, Fight Night J back with another video, and in today's video I will be giving my predictions to UFC Fight Night Sterling versus Zalal. Another mid Fight Night card, at least on paper. To be fair, the last Fight Night cards actually have been surprisingly good, so hopefully we're in for some surprises. But nevertheless, we're going to get started with the first fight of the night. That is Talita Alencar versus Julia Pilastri. I'm taking Talita Alencar. My reasoning behind it: it's a woman's fight. I usually don't have too much reasoning. Talita is a good grappler. Julia, she's just mid in every way. I just think Talita is a better fighter. That's what I'm going with. If you don't like my women fighting predictions, I don't blame you, because most of the time I'm autopilot when it comes to these fights. But I mean, you look at the record, you look at the wins, who they won over, what fights were competitive, with what competition. That's what I'm going off of. So I'm picking Talita Alencar for this first fight. Moving on to Max Griffin versus Victor Valenzuela. I'm taking Victor Valenzuela this fight. Max Griffin's 40 years old. He's had a lot of ups and downs in the UFC career that he's had so far. Victor Valenzuela is on the up and up. Younger guy. He's a good striker. He's a good grappler. I don't think I can see Max Griffin pulling out a decision in this win. Yeah, Victor Valenzuela, I'm going to say by unanimous decision over Max Griffin. Moving on to Francis Marshall versus Lucas Brennan. I'm going to take Francis Marshall in this fight. I've been watching tape on Lucas Brennan. He is a take you down, hope for a decision, or get a submission type of guy. And I think Francis Marshall is more technical on the feet. He also uses his offensive grappling. So anywhere this fight goes, I think Francis Marshall is going to have an answer for all of what Lucas Brennan is going to be trying to do. I'm going to say TKO in the third round. Francis Marshall on top, raining down punches, and he'll get a TKO. That's my prediction for this fight. Moving on to Rafael Filo versus Cody Durden. Cody Durden is just a terrible fighter. He's the only flyweight I've ever seen get so visibly gassed after one round of offensive grappling. Rafael Filo, he's not going to get gassed. I'm going to say that he submits him in the second round. Kind of a trash fight, in my opinion. Moving on to Mayra Bueno Silva versus Michelle Montague. I'm going to be on autopilot, but I do know Mayra Bueno Silva is on a downslide of her career. She's just losing and losing and losing. Michelle Montague looks like a decent prospect for the women's division. I'm going to say Michelle Montague by a decision, because I'm never picking a finish for a women's fight. Moving on to Jackson McVeigh versus Cedricus Dumas. Now, I am not a fan of Cedricus Dumas as a person. Just look into him for 5 minutes and you'll see why. But I'm taking him in this fight. Jackson McVeigh, he's just not a good stand-up fighter. He's not good on the ground. He just doesn't look like a professional fighter. Cedricus Dumas is not far ahead of him, but Cedricus Dumas does have some good kicks, can use his grappling. I think this is going to be a boring fight. I think this is going to be a decision, but I'm going to take Cedricus Dumas in this win. Moving on to Rodolfo Vieira versus Eric McConaughey. I'm taking Eric McConaughey in this fight. Rodolfo Vieira is coming off of that flatline KO against Bo Nickel. He's a little bit older. I think he's more plotty than Eric McConaughey. McConaughey actually has some explosivity. I'm going to say explosivity in his fights. He's a good stand-up guy. If he can just keep this on the feet, I think Eric McConaughey is going to win the fight. I'm going to say by second round TKO for Eric McConaughey. Moving on to the main card with the first fight, that is Marcus Buchecha versus Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann is dog shit. Marcus Buchecha, I think, is going to grind out Ryan Spann for another heavyweight, plotty, fat, ugly decision win. Marcus Buchecha, please make this interesting. At least try to knock him out. He's very easily knocked out. He's very easily TKO'd. He gives up a lot. Please beat Ryan Spann in an exciting way, and don't make this another boring heavyweight grind-out fest. But I'm going Marcus Buchecha. Moving on to Montel Jackson versus Renoy Barcelos. I'm taking Montel Jackson in this fight. I think he's a little bit more defensively sound. He looks like he has a plan for what he's doing on the feet. He's more explosive. And I think he can shut down any kind of grappling Barcelos might try to do up against the fence, reverse position. Yeah, I'm going Montel Jackson in this fight. I'm going to say unanimous decision. Moving on to the next fight, which is Davy Grant versus Adrian Luna Martinetti. I'm taking Martinetti in this fight. Davy Grant, another old man on this card. I think they're throwing him out for him to get slaughtered by Martinetti. He's a tough fighter. He's a fast fighter, Martinetti. Davy Grant is awkward and powerful, so Martinetti has to be defensively sound and try not to use his toughness as much as he does in his previous fights. But I think Luna Martinetti has more youth. I think he has more speed. I think he can just outstrike him to a unanimous decision, and that's what I'm going with. Martinetti to a unanimous decision. Moving on to Rafa Garcia versus Alexander Hernandez. I'm going to take Alexander Hernandez in this fight. I'm going to say unanimous decision. The reason I'm taking Alexander Hernandez, I like that he utilizes his kicks a lot more than Rafa Garcia. Rafa Garcia is mostly using his boxing, pressuring his opponent, getting him to the fence, holding on, trying to win that way. And I think Alexander Hernandez has more tools in his bag. He can kick, he can strike, he can grapple. I think he's going to batter his legs. I think he's going to win by unanimous decision over 3 rounds. Just more shots landed on Rafa Garcia than Rafa can land on Alex. That's my reasoning behind the fight. And we're moving on to Norma Dumont versus Jocelyn Edwards. It's another woman's fight. I'm taking Norma Dumont, though. I think she's just going to out-grapple Jocelyn Edwards for the whole fight, and it's going to be another boring decision win. I hope these fights can prove me wrong. I hope there's some finishes. There's been a lot of finishes on the previous Fight Night cards, but I know we're in for a stinker, and I think this is the card where there's going to be a lot of decisions, a lot of boring fights. Prove me wrong. I'm happy to be wrong, but I'm taking Norma Dumont in this fight, unanimous decision. Moving on to the next fight, which is Aljamain Sterling versus Yusuf Zalal. I'm going to take Aljamain Sterling, and guess what I'm going to take him by? Unanimous decision. I think it's going to be Aljamain Sterling constantly taking down Yusuf Zalal. Yusuf Zalal trying to submit Aljamain Sterling off his back, failing submission after submission. Aljamain Sterling has a good gas tank. He has good cardio. Now, if they're on the feet, Zalal definitely, in my opinion, has the striking advantage. But I don't think Sterling's going to let this fight stay on the feet. I think he's been training hard to grapple, and that's what he's going to do. And I think Aljamain Sterling is going to out-grapple Yusuf Zalal for 5 rounds in a boring main event on a boring card. That's what I'm predicting for this card. Prove me wrong. I hope I'm wrong. Anyway, if you made it this far, like, subscribe, leave a comment on what you think about these fights. This has been Fight Night J. Peace.